Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the gripping tension brewing between Carly Spencer and Sonny Corinthos as she drops a bombshell condition for revealing her hidden truth marriage. In the latest twists from Port Charles, Carly's declaration that she can't spill the beans without tying the knot hints at a bombshell elation buried deep in legal protections like spousal privilege, ensuring whatever she's hiding stays shielded from prying eyes and courtroom drama. This isn't just a casual suggestion, it's a calculated move straight out of their playbook, where vows become shields against the chaos that often engulfs their lives. Longtime viewers will recall how Carly and Sonny have danced this tango before, rushing to the altar not out of pure romance, but as a strategic alliance against looming threats, like when shadowy dealings with the mob or family betrayals forced their hands in previous scandals. Imagine the stakes now, Carly's eyes darting nervously as she gauges Sonny's reaction, her voice laced with urgency, knowing one wrong word could unravel everything they've built. Adding layers to this intrigue, sources whisper that the secret involves more than just her, it's entangled with their son, Michael Corinthos, creating a family web of silence that could either bind them closer or tear them apart forever. Delving deeper into the secrecy, Carly's pact with Michael suggests a collaborative cover-up, perhaps stemming from a desperate bid to protect the Corinthos legacy from external forces closing in. Picture Michael, ever the protector with his corporate edge sharpened by Quartermaine blood, confiding in his mother during a late-night strategy session at the Metro Court, their whispers echoing the gravity of decisions that could topple empires. This duo's alliance isn't new. Michael's loyalty to Carly has always mirrored Sonny's, but now it's amplified by whatever evidence they're guarding, possibly linked to corporate espionage or a personal vendetta that hits too close to home. Fans speculate this could tie back to unresolved tensions with the Casadini family, where old grudges resurface like ghosts in the fog-shrouded docks of Port Charles. Carly's insistence on marriage underscores her fear. Without that unbreakable bond, Sonny might be subpoenaed, forcing him into impossible choices that clash with his code of honor. It's a masterful stroke of drama, highlighting Carly's evolution from impulsive firebrand to a shrewd guardian of her loved ones, willing to rewrite her future for their sake. Yet, this revelation risks exposing fractures in their dynamic, as Sonny's probing questions reveal his growing frustration, his brow furrowed in that signature mix of concern and command. The timeline sharpens the suspense with that suspicious visit to Elizabeth Baldwin's home last week, a seemingly innocent drop-in that now reeks of orchestration amid the PCPD's sudden raid. Elizabeth, with her nurse's intuition and ties to half of Port Charles' elite, might have unwittingly become a pawn in this game. Her cozy living room transformed into a clandestine meeting spot where Carly and Michael exchange coded glances over coffee. Right on cue, the knock echoes detectives with badges gleaming and a warrant clutched like a death sentence, their boots tracking mud across the threshold as they demand access to every drawer and shelf. This wasn't random. Insiders hint it was a tip-off gone awry, with Carly and Michael slipping away just minutes before, hearts pounding as they vanished into the night. Connecting the dots, the real jackpot seems to lie in Drew Kane's residence, where a fortunate discovery of incriminating files or artifacts unfolded like a scripted thriller, perhaps a hidden ledger detailing illicit funds or a digital trail leading straight to forbidden alliances. Was this stroke of luck engineered by a mole within the force, or pure coincidence in a town rife with betrayal? Carly's silence to Sonny in the aftermath speaks volumes. She's not about to drag him into the crossfire, especially if it means perjuring himself under oath. His gravelly denials cracking under pressure from prosecutors hungry for a win against the untouchable Don. Shifting focus to Sonny's personal landscape, the mobster's prolonged solitude since parting ways with Nina Reeves in early 2024 marks a seismic shift, turning the once relentless romantic into a man content with his own company amid the shadows of his empire. Nearly 2 years without a steady flame, that's an eternity for Sonny, whose life has been a whirlwind of passionate entanglements, from fiery affairs to whirlwind weddings that lit up the tabloids. Fans have buzzed about this transformation, noting how his days now revolve around Metro Court dealings and quiet evenings with his espresso, a far cry from the chaos of past paramours. That pivotal Nixon Falls escapade, with its raw revelations and brush with mortality, appears to have forged a new Sonny, more introspective, less impulsive, channeling his energy into mentoring his kids and fortifying his business against rivals like the ever-scheming Pikeman Group. Yet, beneath this calm exterior simmers the old fire, ready to ignite if Carly's plea pulls him back into the fray. Viewers adore this so-low Sonny, appreciating his vulnerability without the drama of mismatched loves. But the chemistry with Carly remains electric, a pull that's defied odds time and again. It's as if Port Charles is holding its breath, wondering if this dry spell ends in a blaze of rekindled sparks or fades into platonic loyalty. Echoing the heartbeat of the fandom, there's an undeniable yearning for Sonny and Carly to reclaim their throne as Port Charles' power couple. Their banner and battle's a staple that no other pairing can match. Technically, their marital history is a soap opera in itself. 5 ceremonies under their belt, including that heartfelt vow renewal that briefly papered over the cracks. But from messy divorces that left scars and custody wars in their wake, each split was a tempest fueled by jealousy, secrets, or external meddling from foes like Jasper Jacks or the ever-interfering Ava Jerome, yet they always circled back, drawn by an invisible thread of shared history and unyielding trust. A 6th union now. It would be poetic chaos, likely doomed to the same cycle unless they confront the root of their dysfunction, perhaps through therapy sessions laced with mob threats or family interventions. Carly wouldn't hesitate, her pragmatic side envisioning a quick courthouse dash or impromptu chapel scene, white dress swapped for jeans and determination, pulling Sonny into the vortex alongside Michael. But this lifeline comes at a cost. How does it ripple through her budding connection with Jack Brennan, the enigmatic ex-FBI agent whose steady presence offers stability without the bullets? Brennan, with his sharp wit and hidden depths, might see this as the ultimate test, his jealousy flaring as Carly prioritizes blood ties over their tentative romance. Could it fracture their trust, pushing her toward isolation? Or forge an unlikely alliance where Brennan steps up as an unexpected ally in the shadows? As the layers peel back, this marital gambit amplifies the Corinthos clan's vulnerabilities, with Michael's corporate maneuvering potentially clashing against Sonny's street-smart instincts in a showdown of strategies. Envision courtroom scenes where spousal privilege is invoked like a shield. Carly's testimony halted mid-sentence, lawyers object, the gallery gasping at the implications. Inventive twists could involve a double cross from within Elizabeth's circle, perhaps Franco's lingering influence or a nurse's misplaced loyalty spilling secrets. Sonny's protectiveness would surge, his resources mobilized to bury evidence or hiring private investigators or leaning on old contacts in the underworld. For Carly, this dance with destiny tests her resilience, balancing maternal fears with romantic what-ifs, all while Brennan watches from the sidelines, his own secrets bubbling up. Next, we will dive deep into the electrifying previews for Thursday's episode, where Jason Morgan's long-awaited confession is set to drop like a bombshell, leaving fans on the edge of their seats as whispers swirl about his hidden emotions for the enigmatic Britt Westburn. In the shadowy undercurrents of Port Charles, Jason's return has always been a catalyst for chaos and heartfelt revelations. But this upcoming admission feels particularly charged with romantic tension. Fans have been buzzing online, flooding social media with memes and theories, eagerly anticipating that Jason might finally bare his soul to Britt, confessing the depth of his lingering affection that has simmered beneath the surface since her dramatic re-entry into town. Britt, with her sharp wit and unyielding determination, has woven herself back into the fabric of the community through a series of calculated moves. Yet her personal saga often takes a back seat to the town's explosive headlines, like the jaw-dropping resurrection of Nathan West, her brother, who clawed his way back from what everyone believed was a permanent grave. This twin resurgence of siblings from beyond has fans dissecting every clue, wondering if it's part of a larger conspiracy involving shadowy organizations pulling strings from afar. Adding layers to Britt's current arc, she's scheming to secure luxurious quarters at the opulent Metrocourt Hotel, employing a ruthless blackmail tactic against the feisty Josslyn Joss Jacks, leveraging secrets that could unravel Joss's carefully guarded life. Jason, ever the enforcer with a moral compass, is bound to view this extortion play with disdain, his brow furrowing in that signature way as he grapples with the conflict between his loyalty to Britt and his protective instincts toward the younger Jacks. Yet, despite the ethical quagmires, every stolen glance and tense encounter between Jason and Britt crackles with unspoken passion, his vulnerability peeking through like sunlight-piercing storm clouds. Viewers are practically holding their breath, rooting for this powerhouse duo to reignite their flame, perhaps in a candlelit moment at the Quartermaine estate or amid the neon glow of the floating rib, where old flames often flicker back to life. Of course, the intrigue doesn't stop at romance. Jason's confession could veer into darker, more perilous territory, unrelated to matters of the heart, though we'd all prefer the jabbered fairy tale to unfold without hitches. Picture this: Jason, haunted by the ghosts of his recent exploits, might unload the full, gritty saga of his Croatian odyssey, a whirlwind of espionage, narrow escapes, and moral tightropes that tested his unbreakable code. But true to form, Jason ain't one to tattle to the brass at the Port Charles Police Department. That's simply not in his DNA, as evidenced by his decades-long dance around the law while safeguarding his inner circle. Instead, envision a clandestine sit-down in Sonny Corinthus's fortified warehouse, the air thick with cigar smoke and unspoken debts, where Jason lays out the harrowing details of the Five Poppies Hotel debacle. This clandestine venue, with its labyrinth of hidden rooms and echoing corridors, served as the stage for betrayals that entangled Josslyn in ways no one saw coming, her unwitting involvement tying her fate to international intrigue. To shield his boss from the fallout, Jason could artfully sidestep implicating Sonny too deeply, sparing him the agony of fabricating tales to Carly Spencer about Joss's clandestine ties to the World Security Bureau WSB. Carly, the indomitable queen of deception herself, has mastered the art of white lies to protect her family, but this secret weighs heavier, potentially fracturing alliances forged in fire. Jason's loyalty might compel him to frame the narrative as a solo misadventure, emphasizing his solo burdens while glossing over the collective risks, all to maintain the fragile peace in their criminal empire. Delving further into the web of resurrections and revelations, Jason's heart-to-heart could pivot toward Damian Spinelli, his tech-savvy confidant, whose return to Port Charles always brings a whirlwind of gadgets and glitches. As the two huddle in Spinelli's cluttered cyber lair, surrounded by flickering screens and half-eaten pizza boxes, Jason might confess the emotional turmoil of reintegrating Nathan West into their tight-knit fold. Nathan's miraculous survival, emerging from a fabricated demise that shocked the town to its core, mirrors Britt's own improbable comeback, raising red flags about coordinated plots perhaps orchestrated by a vengeful faction within the WSB, or even echoes of Helena Casadine's lingering machinations from beyond the grave. Is it mere coincidence that these West siblings defied death within days of each other? Or is there a hidden puppet master at work, testing the loyalties of Port Charles' elite? Jason, ever the strategist, could voice suspicions about Britt's evolving dynamic with Nathan, probing whether her tough love approach masks deeper resentments or protective instincts honed from years of medical exile. This confession might unearth forgotten family lore, like the siblings' childhood in a fractured European household, where secrets were currency and trust a rare commodity. Adding poignant depth to their fractured bond, fans speculate that this dialogue could spark a subplot where Spinelli hacks into obscure WSB archives, uncovering digital breadcrumbs that link the resurrections to a broader syndicate threatening the town's stability. Shifting gears to the maternal storm brewing, Carly Spencer stands at a crossroads, her radar finely tuned not just to Jason's unresolved spark for Britt, which, if confessed, would hit like a freight train derailing her own tangled history with him, but to the explosive intel Jason harbors about her daughter Josslyn. Unbeknownst to Carly, Joss has been secretly inducted as a WSB operative, a high-stakes recruitment spearheaded by her enigmatic boyfriend, Jack Brennan, whose charm conceals a labyrinth of covert operations. This revelation, bubbling under the surface like a pot about to boil over, could shatter Carly's world, forcing her to confront how her own romantic entanglements have inadvertently pulled Joss into the crosshairs of global espionage. Jason, privy to the recruitment through his own shadowy networks, weighs the ethics of disclosure. Does he shatter Carly's illusions this week? Perhaps during a tense confrontation at the Metro Court lobby, with rain pattering against the windows to underscore the drama? Or does he hold back, buying time for Joss to navigate her double life, all while dodging Carly's piercing questions that cut through his stoic facade? The tension builds as Carly's intuition, sharpened by years of navigating mob wars and corporate battles, senses something amiss. Her sleepless nights filled with visions of Joss entangled in dangers far beyond the safe harbors of Port Charles University. At the core of it all lies Jason's quintessential restraint, a trait that defines his approach to love as much as his criminal endeavors. He's no impulsive suitor charging forward. Rather, he observes, assesses, and only advances when signals align. A gentlemanly caution born from the scars of lost loves like Robin Scorpio and Sam McCall. Critics among the fandom decry this as foot-dragging, urging Jason to seize the moment with Britt before another tragedy strikes, perhaps a renewed threat from Cyrus, Renault, or an unforeseen medical crisis for the cancer-stricken doctor. Yet, Jason's life as Sonny's right-hand man is a perpetual storm, where relationships bloom like fragile dessert flowers, only to wither under the relentless gale of danger. Romances for him are accidental collisions, not pursued conquests, clashing with the high-octane demands of enforcer duties that leave little room for domestic bliss. So, as Thursday unfolds, will Britt, with her bold facade cracking under vulnerability, take the reins and invite Jason's honesty? Maybe during a midnight walk along the harbor docks where waves crash like unresolved emotions. Or will Jason defy expectations, dropping his guard in a raw, unfiltered declaration amid Britt's deflections, proving that even stone-cold operatives can melt under the right gaze? Whatever path unfolds, this confession promises to ripple through Port Charles, reshaping alliances and igniting passions in ways that will have us all glued to our screens, theorizing late into the night about the twists yet to come. Stay tuned for more spoilers as the drama intensifies. Next, we will learn about the jaw-dropping phenomenon of siblings rising from the grave in Port Charles, spotlighting Britt and Nathan's miraculous comebacks while uncovering a legacy of undead drama that has kept fans glued to their screens for decades. In the shadowy underbelly of General Hospital, where secrets fester like open wounds, the recent resurrection of Britt Westburn and her brother Nathan West has sent shockwaves through Port Charles, reminding everyone that death is just a plot twist waiting to unravel. Britt, the once ruthless doctor with a heart of ice that slowly thawed over time, was brutally taken out in a blaze of betrayal involving her ties to the notorious Faison legacy. Her body seemingly lost to the unforgiving sea. Yet, in a twist that echoes the show's storied history of defying the Reaper, she clawed her way back, emerging with fresh scars and a renewed vendetta against those who orchestrated her demise. Nathan, her steadfast sibling, and the principled cop whose moral compass never wavered, met a tragic end in a hail of gunfire during a high-stakes WSB operation gone awry, his sacrifice leaving a void in the Scorpio Jones family dynamics. But Port Charles has a knack for rewriting obituaries, and Nathan's return brings layers of unresolved tension, including fractured alliances with his widow Maxie and lingering questions about his covert missions that could upend the town's fragile peace. These sibling revivals aren't mere coincidences. They weave into the fabric of a soap opera tradition where no grave stays filled for long, fueling endless speculation about who's pulling the strings from beyond the veil. Diving deeper into the annals of undead romance, no tale captures the magic of resurrection quite like the epic saga of Luke and Laura Spencer. The golden duo whose love story redefined soap opera immortality and turned their 1981 wedding into a cultural milestone watched by over 30 million enthralled viewers. Laura's disappearance hit like a thunderbolt shortly after their nuptials, with whispers of foul play swirling as she vanished into thin air, presumed drowned in a sinister scheme masterminded by the power-hungry Casadini clan, who saw her as a pawn in their global chess game. Luke, the roguish adventurer turned grieving widower, threw himself into public service, clinching the mayor's office in a landslide victory fueled by his charismatic defiance, only to find solace in solitary moments overlooking the sprawling Spencer estate. Picture the scene. Under a moonlit sky heavy with longing, Luke spots a familiar silhouette gliding through the manicured gardens, her flowing dress catching the breeze like a ghost from his dreams. Heart pounding, he bolts down the grand staircase, bellowing her name into the night, and in a moment that melted hearts worldwide, Laura leaps into his embrace, her eyes brimming with tales of captivity in a remote Casadini fortress where she endured psychological torment but clung to visions of their shared life. Their reunion didn't just mend a broken family, it ignited a firestorm of adventures. From thwarting Helena Casadini's vengeful plots to rebuilding their bond amid Luke's battle with hidden demons from his past, proving that in Port Charles, love conquers even the coldest tomb. Shifting gears to the gritty world of mob enforcers and shadowy intrigue, Jason Morgan's multiple brushes with eternity stand as a testament to General Hospital's penchant for high-octane resurrections that blend action with emotional gut punches, making him the ultimate survivor in a town riddled with bullets and betrayals. As Sonny Corinthus's right-hand man, Jason's life is a perpetual tightrope walk over danger, from explosive warehouse showdowns to clandestine deals in fog-shrouded docks. But his 2012 demise at the hands of the deranged Caesar Faison marked a turning point that left fans reeling. Shot point-blank and unceremoniously dumped into the churning harbor waters, Jason's body vanished without a trace, sparking a city-wide manhunt that uncovered layers of corruption but yielded no closure, allowing the legend of the dead enforcer to grow mythic. Fast forward 2 years, and a stranger with Jason's steely gaze, but a scarred, unfamiliar face strides back into Port Charles, claiming to be the lost Morgan after enduring grueling reconstructive surgery in a hidden clinic tied international black market surgeons. This impostor reintegrates seamlessly, rekindling flames with Sam McCall and clashing with old foes, only for the bombshell revelation to drop. This was actually Jason's long-lost twin, Andrew Franco Kane, manipulated into the role through a clandestine memory imprinting program orchestrated by the unscrupulous Dr. Liesel Obrecht, who sought to weaponize the brothers' shared DNA for her twisted experiments. The true Jason, meanwhile, had been held captive in a remote facility, his mind fractured by the procedure, leading to identity crises that tore at his relationships and forced brutal confrontations with his doppelganger. Jason's saga didn't end there. In 2021, another cliffhanger unfolded on the sun-baked cliffs of Crete, where a fierce brawl with the malevolent Peter August, son of Faison, and heir to a web of lies sent Jason plummeting into a crumbling tunnel amid an earthquake's roar, debris burying him alive as the island quaked. Deemed lost forever, his absence rippled through Port Charles, straining Sonny's empire and deepening Sam's grief, until his 2024 reemergence unveiled a coerced stint, an FBI asset, undercover in a cartel sting that demanded he sever all ties and adopt a ghost-like existence. This latest return layers in fresh conflicts, from ethical dilemmas over betraying loved ones to physical tolls like chronic injuries from underground survival, enriching Jason's arc with themes of loyalty tested by federal puppet masters and hinting at future clashes with renewed Casadini threats. No discussion of Port Charles Phantoms would be complete without the poignant return of Dr. Robin Scorpio Drake, whose journey from child prodigy to tragic hero captivated audiences and mirrored the real-life evolution of her portrayer, Kimberly McCullough, who embodied the role from toddlerhood to season star. Robin's 2012 death in a lab inferno engineered by the vengeful Jerry Jacks felt like a dagger to the heart, her cryogenic expertise ironically sealing her fate in a blaze that symbolized the perils of her scientific pursuits against global terrorists. As news spread, her devoted husband Patrick Drake spiraled into despair, eventually finding tentative healing in the arms of the compassionate nurse Sabrina Santiago, their budding romance blooming with stolen hospital kisses and dreams of a stable family life for their daughter Emma. Unbeknownst to them, Faison's machinations had staged the explosion, imprisoning Robin in a sterile Siberian bunker where she battled isolation, experimented on unwilling subjects to stay sharp, and clung to smuggled photos of her family as lifelines. Her daring escape, aided by her resilient parents Anna and Robert Scorpio's WSB infiltration, culminated in a heart-wrenching church intrusion during Patrick's wedding rehearsal to Sabrina. The stained glass windows, casting ethereal light as Robin lingered in the shadows, torn between joy and devastation. Little Emma, with her intuitive child's eyes, pierced the veil first, dashing across the aisle into her mother's waiting arms, her gleeful cries shattering the solemn vows and leaving Sabrina stunned in a puddle of shattered illusions. Robin's revival didn't just disrupt a wedding. It sparked a custody war, ethical debates over Patrick's divided heart, and Robin's crusade to dismantle the network that held her, incorporating invented subplots like her developing a counter serum to reverse cryogenic effects on other victims, all while navigating the emotional minefield of rebuilding trust with a family forever altered by her absence. Rounding out this gallery of ghostly comebacks, the 80s super couple Frisco Jones and Felicia Cummings delivered a resurrection romance laced with espionage and heartfelt redemption, their story a nostalgic nod to General Hospital's roots in adventure and passion. Frisco, the dashing WSB agent with a guitar-strumming soul, vanished during a perilous undercover op in Southeast Asia, his covert extraction team ambushed in a monsoon-lashed jungle, leaving behind only echoes of his final radio transmission pleading for backup. Presumed Kia, his loss devastated Felicia, the vivacious archaeologist whose spirit matched his fire, pushing her into the comforting embrace of Colton Shore, a steady lawyer who offered stability amid her grief-stricken nights. Their marriage, sealed in a quaint Port Charles ceremony overlooking the harbor, promised a fresh start, complete with plans for a quiet life away from spy games, until a fateful evening stroll after a candlelit dinner changed everything. As Felicia linked arms with Colton under the twinkling street lamps, Frisco materialized from the mist like a specter, his rugged frame battered by months of evasion and torture in enemy camps, his eyes locking onto hers with unspoken apologies. The shock felled Felicia in a dramatic faint, her world spinning as paramedics rushed in, but once revived, the floodgates opened passionate confessions, tearful reunions, and Colton's gracious exit paved the way for Frisco and Felicia's rekindled flame, culminating in a lavish remarriage on a sun-kissed beach where they vowed to balance spy thrills with family joys, even adopting a stray rescue dog as a symbol of their resilient bond. Of course, Britt and Nathan's revivals are merely the latest chapters in Port Charles's endless book of the undead, a roster brimming with iconic figures who've cheated fate time and again, each return injecting fresh drama into the town's tangled web. Holly Sutton, the glamorous adventurer, faked her demise in a plane crash to evade international warrants, resurfacing with tales of exotic hideouts and reigniting sparks with Robert Scorpio amid a diamond heist gone wrong. Anna Devane, the Ice Queen spy, endured a staged assassination by her own agency, only to emerge from witness protection with a new alias and vendettas against corrupt officials, her return complicating her sisterly bond with Robin. Luke Spencer's own multiple deaths, from a car explosion to a poisoning plot, always looped back to Laura, underscoring their unbreakable tether. Robert Scorpio, Frisco's mentor, survived a submarine sabotage, washing ashore with amnesia that led to hilarious identity swaps before reclaiming his role in WSB takedowns. Young Jake Weber, Jason's son, was presumed lost at sea in a yacht disaster but was secretly protected by his grandmother Helena, returning with psychic abilities from experimental treatments that now haunt his teen years. Even villains like Faison staged elaborate hoaxes, his electrocution a ruse to clone himself and perpetuate chaos through heirs like Peter. Brenda Barrett, The model-turned-mob wife escaped a cartel hit by plastic surgery and exile, her comeback stirring jealousy and Sonny's circle with whispers of hidden fortunes. Franco Baldwin, post-brain tumor redemption, met a fiery end in a warehouse blaze, but hinted at survival through cryptic messages, teasing a darker return as an anti-hero. And the list stretches on, encompassing Emily Quartermain's ghostly visions evolving into full resurrections via Quartermain tech. Billy Miller's Drew Kane emerging from a coma-induced death with altered memories, and even speculative whispers of a young Stone Cold's revival through time travel arcs.